final course is going to be a stem ginger and vanilla cheesecake with poached Yorkshire rhubarb, jelly and chocolate. So now we're moving on to our final course, which is the cheesecake, ginger, so all the elements that kind of work with rhubarb, because rhubarb is the star of the show this time of year. It's one of Yorkshire's finest exports. This is from Pudsey, from Tomlinson's, or you get it from the Wakefield. So as you see, I'm utilising some of the poaching liquor, the jelly, etc. Patrice has matched this with something quite different, which we kind of do on the wine tasting. Make you think, I'd never tried that with his food. I've got it with a rosé port, which most people won't have seen or heard of. But there's a nice sweet element in there which goes very, very well with the characteristics of this dish. So the cheesecake will come to yourselves like this. It is lined with greaseproof. I have one I prepared earlier just in case it doesn't come out on camera. So it's literally lift it out, peel the greaseproof back, and voila, you have your cheesecake. So in there, it's just your classic uncooked cheesecake, your ginger biscuit base, because gingers work very well with the rhubarb, stem ginger and some vanilla. Not crazily sweet, there's a lot of the sweet components on the plate, so you can really taste the ginger. Now look at this rhubarb, this is how rhubarb should be. It's the fourth time of year for the rhubarb, so you get this lovely pink champagne colour. So that's just been quickly poached in orange, juniper, a little bit of gin, sugar, not orange. So I'm just going to build them a little pile. Now, with the cooking liquor, which I poached the rhubarb in, I made a jelly as well. So I set it down, put a little bit more orange juice into it, and made this lovely rhubarb and orange jelly, so the liquid gets used twice. Also, the liquid from the poaching the rhubarb, I've reduced it really down and made a lovely sweet, sticky syrup. So on the plate, these are white chocolate bonbons, but they are filled with vanilla anglaise, like a semi-set custard in there. So just alternative, custard, jelly, custard and jelly. Obviously, this is how I present the dishes. I am open to suggestions about how they can look better, or please feel free to experiment, let us know, send us your pictures. You might get a job when we open. So now we've got the syrup again, so I'm just gonna, what we call nappe, so just literally coat the rhubarb, and just a little bit on the plate. Finished. I know you said it's another little chefy thing, but it's a micro lemon balm. So with that, it's just like a little mint leaf, but it's just got that little acidity of the lemon in there. Just as garnish. It's as simple as that, and that will work so well with the rosé port. And there we have the final course.
There we are. We're on pudding now, so hopefully you'll have enjoyed a nice two-course meal with the white and the red. Now came pudding. As a sommelier, as a wine drinker, as a person, it's always an intriguing thing now. It's funny, I take my French sort of experience into it, but the term sweet wine or dessert wine, the term dessert wine in French doesn't exist. We don't call them dessert wine. And the reason is most of the wine that we use, so I'm talking about Sauternes, maybe Montbazillac from the region, or other region of France where they will make a slightly sweeter wine. We either call them aperitif wine, so something that you can have as an aperitif, as a nice little sweetness, or you do things differently with it. So sometimes you will use it with blue cheese, you would use it with rich dish, brioche based. I was going to say foie gras, but I won't, but that's definitely the type of dish that you would go for. So it's interesting that in England we also call them dessert wine. So we presume that dessert wine goes with pudding, okay? And the problematic that we have there is we know that we need a contrast between the two. So if we put something sweet on sweet, you've got double sweet, okay? So it don't always work, okay? Certainly in France, and it goes from from a birthday cake to a proper pudding, would go to the Champagne region, something nice and dry and fizzy, and that would go very well with pudding. We have also sort of slightly wines that we call moelleux, which are more like late harvest than they are dessert wine. So wines that have been just left on the vine for a bit longer, and we end up with a white wine with a little bit more sort of lingering sweetness at the back there. Okay, so taking that concept in tow, I decided to go to Portugal. Okay, and we all know what port is, because I believe we drink a lot of port in this country, more so than anywhere else, and it's always sort of at the end there with a cheese. So obviously you have a pink port in front of you, which is quite unusual. I must admit that I've only tried this last year and thought it was absolutely remarkable and enjoyable, and I think it really has got its place for the pudding there. Now, what is port? Okay, the idea of port, and it's the same for all the different color, white, rosé or red, but the idea is that we harvest grapes that are very mature and ready to make a very sweet wine. Okay, so those grapes are fueled with sugar, and the fermentation starts. Okay, now once the fermentation comes to a point where we're happy with the remaining amount of sugar, we're gonna stop the fermentation by killing the yeast by adding brandy into it. Okay, to give you an idea, that particular port there is 19.5% of alcohol. Okay, but what we add to the grape juice to stop the fermentation is a brandy that is 77% degree of alcohol. Okay, so it just gives you the idea of how much sugar remaining there, because the fermentation would have probably gauged to about maybe 6 or 7 degree alcohol, leaving all that, the wine would have been maybe 15% alcohol or 16% alcohol. It was that sweet, So we've got plenty of sweetness left there with the addition of brandy, okay? And that's why you really have that, especially when you drink a port like this, when it's nice and chill, you get all that sweetness and fruit, and at the back there, boom, the brandy comes in and just gives you a little kick there, okay? And that's exactly the idea with the pudding there. The sweetness will come into, the palate will be completely coated with the sweetness. The first mouthful of the wine will actually bring the sweetness, and then the alcohol will kick in and just again cleanse the palate like we did with the first white wine there, and just give you a lovely sort of clean mouth ready for the next mouthful. Okay, excellent. Do be careful also. Yeah, it's 19.5% of alcohol there for the port, but certainly worth trying. Pink port. There we go. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and I hope you've all had a lovely evening, afternoon or morning, whichever you decided to do the tasting in, and hopefully we'll do this soon and see you again. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
And food pairing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some inspiration. If not, you just want to eat it and drink the wine, please do. So I'd like to thank you very much for your support, new and old customers. Hope you find it interesting. Any feedback, or you want to take any pictures or put it on social media, tag us in, feel free to. I'd like to thank Patrice for his fantastic commentary and knowledge. And also, Patrice has his own wine club, so we'll post the details about that. Hope you're all staying safe. Thanks again, all from Ellsworth Kitchen. Thank you.